Alright, so you guys want an explanation on what exactly was the purpose of using a THERA-gun versus wanting to do a foam roller. So I've actually never have ever believed in using a foam roller. I've been weightlifting for 12 years. I've been a trainer for 7. I've never used it with my clients, and my clients have never ever had a problem. But do I use my THERA-gun? I use my THERA-gun on my clients all the time, and I use it on myself. So you can use them in 3 different ways, basically. You can use them as a post-workout, you can use it as a post-mid workout, or you can use it as a post-mid and pre-workout. So essentially what the THERA-gun does is it breaks up muscle adhesions. Okay, muscle adhesions can also be used or also be named as muscle webbing, and or I've heard some people call it fuzzies. Don't know why they're called fuzzies, but basically muscle adhesions are whenever, because your muscles are supposed to just basically glide over each other because it's a living tissue. It moves like this. When muscle adhesions start to come in, it makes it difficult for the muscle to move and therefore causes webbing and eventually gets stuck. And so whenever you break up that area and you go over whatever area that you're working, it breaks it back up so then the muscle can move and glide over itself quite effortlessly. When this happens, you're able to maximize your blood flow, and everything just kind of like works in conjunction with each other. So when you use the THERA-gun on your muscles as a pre-workout, what that's essentially doing is it's allowing your muscles to activate. It's allowing them to kind of open up and to get ready as like kind of a low-key static / dynamic warm-up, because you're getting the muscle, it's fighting back, it receives the receptors as kind of like a fight or flight type of deal. And so what happens is it starts to improve circulation. And so when that happens, it's getting the muscle ready for whatever group that you're doing. You're getting it ready for activity. When you use it in the middle, you want to use it as a little bit more higher of a frequency. So slower as a pre-workout, in the middle or post-workout at a higher frequency, because what you're doing is, if it's at a faster rate, it's better for recovery, and it's going to be a lot better as far as the inhibit process. Whenever you're doing a post-workout recovery, you're allowing to break up those muscle adhesions that are starting to basically form from the exercises and from the workout and the strain and the muscle tearing that you've done on the muscle already, because it's sending oxygenated blood to those areas, especially if you're doing fits in your chest, your shoulders. I primarily use mine on my chest and my shoulders just because those are the areas that I can reach besides my leg, because I can't really focus on my back a whole lot, so I have to have somebody do my back for me. But it removes metabolic wastes whenever you do it at a little bit more higher of a frequency as well. Those are just kind of some things to keep in the back of your mind whenever you're using your THERA-gun for your workout at least 3 times a week. It's a very, very good investment to use. You can find them as low as $35. I've got the much more higher end THERA-gun because I knew it was a really good investment to make. I've got the Hypervolt, and I spent $450 on mine. I know they're not that expensive now, but when they first came out and people were like really starting to like get to know what these things were and what they're about, I paid full price for this stupid thing, but they're a little bit cheaper now. But I got the Hypervolt because of the smooth, I guess, mechanics of the gun. It's not very aggressive, and it doesn't make like a plastic noise, I guess you could say, because I've used like the Nimble before. The Nimble's another really good gun, and I've used a handful of others from just like Amazon, and they just didn't feel as good as my gun typically feels. They've got different heads that come with them, different attachments for different things. And so understanding what those heads kind of like correlate to, it'll kind of help you a little bit more be able to basically decipher how to go about breaking up those muscle adhesions in specific areas. To give you a little bit more of an overlay, I've got the flat, what they call the plate. I've got that one on my gun in my kitchen. I got my leg up, I don't want to go get it. But the flat one is pretty much just, it's like, you know, for your chest, your calves, a very, very solid surface basically that that you want to kind of go over. So that's the one that you would want to use for those areas. This is called the ball. This is a little bit more for general use. Your traps, your quads is what I would typically use this for, to kind of get into that area, just get into that muscle a little bit more aggressively. Then you have the hollow head, typically is what you would want to use if you're about to go over joints. It's a soft touch. So even if I don't have this connected to my gun right now, it just, you're able to push in it. It's very, it's gentle basically. And so you would kind of go over bones on this one. If I was getting right behind my traps over on my traps going into, like, you know, my rhomboids, a little bit more on the bottom, you can just go straight over the top with this one because it's not going to irritate your spine or your bones or anything like that like this would. That makes sense? So the next one that we have, this is considered the Y attachment. This isn't in a Y, but this is the version of the Y that I got from my Hypervolt. This is for your forearms, your feet. When you're using all the attachments, and no matter what attachments you typically use, you always want to go to break up the muscle adhesions. You always want to first start elongated. So let's say, for example, if I'm doing my shoulder, okay, right? And so if I'm gonna do my shoulder, I'm probably gonna want to either use this or my plate, so the flathead. I'm gonna want to go over elongated first. Okay, go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then once I'm done going all the way up and down, I'm gonna wanna go straight across, all the way up. And I wanna stop about probably right there, and then I'm gonna wanna go up and down again. You wanna do that basically 3 times because your muscles, the way they sit, they are elongated this way. On pretty much every point of your body, you wanna go with the flow of how your muscle tissues are designed. But you also wanna go across those muscle adhesions as well to break them up and to really get them to kind of separate, to allow the oxygenated blood and the nutrients to help initiate the repair process on whatever you're trying to accomplish, okay? Last one that you're gonna have is your point. And so this is a little bit more for very, very, very deep tissue that you need to get into. So a little bit more for your piriformis and your glutes. So you would want to use this to kind of get kind of like on the top, the clavicle, side of your glutes, because it's very difficult to get in the area. You would never use this on your chest because your muscle's right there. Your glutes have a lot of fat that sits on top of the muscle. So in order to be able to reach the muscle, you really got to kind of get in there and dig in there. So this is pretty much basically only used for the glutes. That's what I kind of use it for. Anyways, so those are all your head attachments, and now you kind of have a little bit more better of an idea of basically how to use the THERA-gun. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me about any type of, you know, information that I kind of put out there. Again, slower speeds, gradual speeds activates the muscle, stimulates it to improve muscle circulation. Faster speeds kind of helps it to be in recovery mode and to kind of stimulate and inhibit the muscles for better nutrients for the repair process.